We have got to stop this. All that more coming up here on the Morning Jolt. What's up, guys? Mark back here with yet another video. So, look, I'm switching gears so hard. I know yesterday was like one of those super duper lovey-dovey, heartfelt, inspiring videos. That is not even close to what today's going to be. So we have to stop this, people. It's just a travesty. So I got a hot tip on a video by the infamous new Camera Store TV hosts.
It's Dave.
And Evelyn from the Camera Store.
I don't know if you guys caught it. I don't know if you even watch that channel anymore, but I have to say that this was probably one of the most embarrassing videos I think I've ever watched. So the video was basically discussing the brand new Canon EOS R. And I've never heard so many excuses for a camera in all of my days.
Yeah, now the other exciting thing is that they have adapters.
I've seen some pretty despicable videos, some pretty despicable apology videos, but this one just goes beyond. Now look, I'm going to give the hosts the benefit of the doubt here, but at the exact same time, every single one of their videos seems to say the exact same thing. I don't know if they're reading from a script. I don't know if they are throwing this stuff off the cuff. I don't know exactly how it's all going down, but I mean, it is just one apology after another, one excuse after another.
They're calling it their paint can lens because it feels like a paint can. It's huge.
But besides them, let's just take them out of the equation. They had two different other photographers on the show, and even they were not even saying all that kind of good things. I mean, the first guy, what was his name? Oh, it was Mike Drew. Apparently he's kind of a regular on that channel, but I was not impressed with his assessment of the camera whatsoever.
But we're going to get into this and talk to Mike about why he loves the Canon EOS R so much that he bought one.
And you guys can watch for yourself. I will leave a link to this video down in the description box below. Come back, watch that, and then come back and then tell me your genuine true thoughts. And then out of nowhere, they invite this other guy. His name was Rob Galbraith. Anyway, this guy wasn't even on board at all. This dude was like, I wouldn't even come close to recommending it.
Now, what are your thoughts on this camera in terms of being a practical tool?
So, in the time that I've had with it so far, I fairly quickly concluded that this is not going to be a camera that we will recommend to students.
I mean, this sounds like a commercial for Canon, basically trying to go, oh, well, it's got this fault and it's got this fault, but they're not that bad. So what do you think, Rob?
Ultimately, it seems that, at minimum, it's not designed for the kind of photographer that we're training.
He's all like, in a million years, I would never recommend this friggin' camera. It is literally a piece of garbage, and I really hope that none of my students ask to use it because I will kick his teeth in with the EOS R strapped to my boot. And that's pretty harsh coming from a Canadian, I'm just saying. But the video itself is titled Real World Review. Now, if you have actually watched this video, you can come back and you can tell me, you're like, do you really feel like it's a review? I don't feel like it is. It feels more like a, hey man, we are Canon shooters. We really like this camera and we want to make as many apologies for it as possible because we're on the Canon bandwagon and we're sorry. We're sorry. Very sorry about all of these faults that Canon has now laid in our lap. There were a couple of funny bits in there. This Mike Drew guy, the crazy wild-haired homeless guy that they're interviewing, they ask him there about, how do you feel about the one card slot? He goes, oh yes, slot shaming.
And what are your thoughts on the one SD card slot?
Slot shaming. One of the best things about it is that it might sound like a silly thing to say, but the files out of this camera are virtually identical to the files out of my other cameras.
So it's literally the exact same as your other cameras? Why'd you buy it then? At least it was a little bit of comedy relief in this whole thing because otherwise it was a pretty bad, it was an embarrassment. It was cringy as hell. And look, I'm not trying to bag on the presenters. I think they're nice people. I think they're super duper trying their best to present the information in the best way that they know how, but they have got to be critical of the critical points. You honestly, when you review a piece of gear, you should point out the fault, but do not feel in any way, shape, or form that you have to make an excuse or an apology for that fault after the fact. I mean, I know comedians are like, hey, we're revolting, we're sorry about it. But you've got to stop that. Like, a fault is a fault is a fault. It doesn't matter. Like, granted, some of the stuff could be, like, relative, depending on who actually is using the gear. Some of it could be, you know, subjective, but most of the time, it's not. I mean, it's kind of getting to, you know, it's kind of getting to that point now where everything that's left out is just obvious, it's blatant, and when they don't include it, that essentially just means that they are protecting something else that they've got in their lineup. Canon is notorious for it. Let's just quit pretending like it's not a thing, because it is, and y'all know it, I'm telling the truth. That's the only thing I do here. You've either got to tell the truth or you've got to make a bunch of apologies.
The EOS R that we're seeing right now is just sort of a good enough camera to kind of get into the market. It's
And I know that there's going to be some people out there that are like, yeah, but they tried really hard. You know, they were just trying to make the best of a bad situation. Hey, and I think that's great. Positivity is awesome. But when the title of the video says real world review, well, what they should have done is they should have put an asterisk after that title and went, but we've got a bunch of excuses and apologies that are going to go along with this whole damn thing, okay? Now, if they'd done that, I would have been like, oh, okay. They're doing a real world review / commercial, and they're also going to make a bunch of apologies for all the shit that's wrong with it. Makes sense. Truth in advertising. I would totally click on that video. Because now that I've got kind of, I've got a feel for these people, like, I know for a fact that they are always going to be like, hey, yeah, this thing really sucks balls, but I mean, they're good balls. I mean, they're super salty balls, so they're so delicious, with dipped in a little bit of chocolate. I know that's exactly what I'm getting every single time that I'm going to watch one of their videos. Now, to compound this issue, when they start talking about like the video and all this other kind of stuff, they're basically, like I said, it's a commercial. They're making excuses. And then I checked out Max's video. Okay, wow. The Canon is so far behind. It was literally last in every single test. The video coming straight out of that camera is just mush. Almost the entire time, every test, didn't matter what the resolution was. It was 4K, 1080p, 720p. It was all just bad. Not just kind of bad, not just sort of bad, but I mean bad. And that was literally comparing it to not just the other full frame, not just the Sony a7 Mark III, but also crop sensor camera like the Fuji X-T3 and the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. Canon is on purposely crippling their cameras, but everyone knows that, and everyone is willing to point that shit out and make it as big of a deal as possible, except for Canon apologists. We've got to not have this anymore. You've got to be hypercritical. You have got to say mean things. You Canadians, man, you all have got to say a mean thing sometimes. You all have got to just be like, dude, this blows. It sucks so hard. I mean, you have to. If you don't say it with any level of force, I mean, you sound like a bunch of cucks. Don't be a bunch of betas, okay? Like, seriously, if you're going to talk and give a real-world review, tough talk. That's the only thing that most people respond to. If you're just kind of mealy-mouthing around the topic, who's going to be like, oh my God, they're causing such a stir. We've really got to do something about this. But nah, if you just go, well, you know, it could be better. You think they're going to move on that? Do you think they're going to do anything with any level, any sense of urgency whatsoever to that? Do the right thing, reviewers. Camera reviewers, attention. Talk shit when it's deserved. Say it loud. Say it forceful. Say it often. Make your point and drive your followers to leave critical, massively critical feedback. And you can do it directly to the camera company. You can do it directly on Amazon. Take steps, take measurable steps to tarnish the image of that particular camera brand. You have to force them. They're not going to do it on their own. And it's obvious that they have no will, no desire. This is 2018, and the competition is so stiff out there, and Canon still refuses to give you Canon shooters what you actually want and need. So you gotta quit with this mealy mouth shit, people. Stop it. Say what you mean what you say it like you got a pair. Let that sack drop and say some mean things. All right, boys, that's all I've got for you all today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much again for watching yet another Morning Jolt episode here on the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I'm going to see you guys again. Oh! Say it like you got some sack. The next one. Peace out.